This here I've nicknamed the run of death, because that's exactly what this is. I made this to answer the problem of where am I going to put my grow outs. A grow out is a bunny that's weaned from its mom, but it's not an adult yet. When I first put rabbits in here, they were all happy and running around. Until a few days later, when I noticed a few of them started dying, I put this chicken wire several feet down into the ground, and I've built everything to where it's predator proof. But it took me a while to kind of figure out what was going on. It's because of their feces. They're stepping all in it. They don't know that they should use one side of this run as a bathroom. Instead, they're doing it over here where the roofing material is, which stops the rain from getting in there, because that's where the feed and the water is. Here's the inside. Now this used to look a lot better when it was brand new, but obviously it's got some use on it. So what they will do is they will dig some holes, and there's a bunch of them that are probably still in there. We've got some babies in here that I'm trying to sell and get rid of so I can clean this thing out. I had a lot more of these. They were all along this piece of 2x4. And then of course the water is fed right here. So they had plenty of water and everything. But let me tell you what they got. You see all these poop pellets right here? Even though it's dry right now, it's because I don't have a lot of rabbits in here. But what used to happen is there was some sort of fungus or something that would grow around here because they would poo and pee. I put 2 litters in here, and they ended up dying within about a week before I realized what was happening. So I probably had about 18 bunnies in here, which is plenty enough space. But after about 3 days, I came back out here, you know, because they have plenty of food and water. And I saw a couple of them dead, and I didn't quite understand what was going on. I saw the fungus, but it just didn't click in my head. But then after several more days, I came out, and even more were dead. It was like every time I come, there were 5 babies lying dead on the ground, until I finally figured it out. It's like the Black Plague. I know there's some people that do colony raising, and I would love to do that in a more open area, but I just can't see this working anymore. It's not humane for them, and it's definitely not cost effective for me. The size of this run, you can actually have about 5 rabbits in here before they start getting sick and dying. That's not worth it. The amount of real estate this thing takes up, it's not worth it. The reason why I built it so small is because building materials were too expensive, and I took 2x6s, ripped them in half, and only went up just a few feet. If you do build something like this and you have the money, make it to where you can walk in here and not have to duck, because it is a pain in the butt to have to come and find these rabbits. So I have built a 3rd hutch, which I made a short video on. It's a grow out hutch. It's got only 2 bays. It's pretty large. It's lifted off the ground. It's got the wire mesh, 1 inch by 1.5 inch, 16 gauge floor mesh that they can, that the poop and pee can fall to the bottom with. And I have not had any deaths out of that or any of the other hutches. I put these totes in here with lids because I heard that they would go in here and nest, because I wanted to do colony raising out of here. Well, let me tell you something, they won't. Now this is obviously covered up now because I've kind of given up hope with it. But if you had a tube coming out of here, my understanding is that they will go in it because they like to go down into little burrows. This is what they like. Of course, you can't see it right now, but there are a ton of rabbits inside of here. This is what they prefer. This makes them feel safe. That's why we got one hiding over here. Yeah, she's up in there. We got one in here. Look, this is what they like. There's one underneath that pallet over there too. I originally wasn't too fond of the idea of putting rabbits in cages either. I just don't like it. But the fact is, that's where they're comfortable at. And it's hard for me to convince myself of it too. But you see these burrows, they've made those. That's where they go. That's what they do instinctually. That's what they do by nature to protect themselves. Those hutches, the different compartments are very large. They have a lot of area to move around in. That's what they're comfortable in. So it's really up to you whether you decide to do a run like this or a hutch like what I've got. But just know this, I built 3. I started with 1, I ended up with 3 of them. If I decide to expand, I may go with 2 large grow outs, which would be 4 hutches total. That's a lot. When this, I thought, would have solved it. I may end up just taking this down and using this real estate for something else. Or what I might do is put chickens in here. Now you might think, oh, well, the same thing's gonna happen. Let me tell you something. Chickens, they're not as close to the ground. And what they'll do is they will go underneath the rabbit hutches where all the poop is, dig around to find worms and stuff to eat. They dig in the poop and pee, it's wet, it's nasty, kind of stinky, and they'll eat bugs out of there, and they're just fine. They've been doing that for years. Plus, when they sleep, they perch on things. So this may be the new chicken run. So if you're having misgivings about putting your buns in cages, just look what Mother Nature's doing. Rabbits and chickens are not like us. You know how we have to be busy all the time when we get bored? They don't have that problem. Well, that's all I have for you today, but I'd be interested to know your experience with this. Leave me a comment, let me know. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.